Alright, what's up you guys? I am here with the SummerSlam 2018 review. And leading up to 2019's edition of SummerSlam, I'm basically going to be doing what I did with WrestleMania. Just do, quick 10-minute reviews, just giving highlights and a letter grade for every SummerSlam pay-per-view. So let's start with 2018, the only SummerSlam I've ever actually attended. And, the most memorable thing about SummerSlam for me this year was, honestly, just meeting David Arquette in a candy store. Good times. But, this was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And presentation-wise, there's not much to say. Obviously, the stage is the same generic Raw and SmackDown stage we always have. So, really not much to say there. But in a good or a good event opener, I should say, we had Seth Rollins facing Dolph Ziggler with Dean Ambrose at Seth Rollins' sides, making his return after the injury and kind of building up to that heel turn that he would later have. And, this was a decent pay-per-view opener. I thought it was good. A good way to really set the pace for what the rest of the night's basically going to turn out to be. I'd say this was probably the second best match on the card, maybe third best. Then we also had Demon Finn Balor coming back, making his, long-awaited return since October of 2017. So almost a year. And it was literally just a squash match with Baron Corbin. We had the long build-up of Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. This was a long-awaited match. It was very much due. And, I think this was match of the night, to me at least. The crowd wasn't that great for this pay-per-view, but, this was one of those matches that I think a lot of people wanted to see. And a lot of people were hyped for at least being there in person. I could see that. So, I enjoyed this match. You had the squirrely finish with the brass knuckles, but that's basically what was kind of expected, being that this was the first match in a program. And one big problem I did have with this pay-per-view was there were a lot of DQs and really just kind of shitty finishes. The SmackDown Tag Team title match went to DQ. You had the WWE title match, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles, a long-awaited TNA rematch for the first time in WWE. And this started a long string program for these two. And, I enjoyed this match a lot. You had AJ Styles' wife and daughter in the crowd. And then Samoa Joe, of course, who was the heel in this program. He played on that and really got the crowd. He got some heat. And, I really enjoyed that. So, it was a really good match. Just the ending. Of course, he had AJ Styles. He got busted up. And then he was basically provoked to just attack Samoa Joe with the chair, getting the disqualification, unfortunately. But I would have preferred just a really good, 4 or 5-star match. You're not going to get a 5-star match, but you know what I mean. Like a 4.5-star match with a, decisive finish. But, I understand it's a storyline that you have to really follow through. And one big thing that this pay-per-view is going to be known for when it comes to a legacy is you have Ronda Rousey winning her first title. I was there for her first match at WrestleMania 34, and I was there for her first her first title win against Alexa Bliss in what was basically a squash match. It's one of those things where I feel like it was too soon, but given what we know now, obviously she is on a hiatus, so I understand why you wanted to give the title to her at SummerSlam. I always said, wait till WrestleMania 35 if you're going to give it to her. I'm not really a Ronda Rousey fan, but you have to admit, the women's division has been there's kind of a void there now, and it's one of those things where maybe, a lot of people don't really know what they have till it's gone. She definitely had some star power. And her winning the Raw Women's title was, very divisive for a lot of fans, but it was still a historic moment, regardless of how you feel about it. We had for the United States Championship, Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And, this one, you had the whole Randy Orton side feud going on with Jeff Hardy. So, this match, it didn't go too long, but it actually was pretty decent. I think it went on second to third last. So, it was a decent match between these two. And this is a match I always wanted to see. I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan, and, I'm a Nakamura fan. So it was kind of a dream match in a way, but, it wasn't some spectacle to be seen. But let's see what else. And another big thing that this is going to be known for is the Becky Lynch heel turn, which basically started all of this. You had Carmella, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, the triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's title. And Becky, she got the heel turn here. So, yeah, definitely, that's another historic moment for this pay-per-view. But your main event, we had Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns once again. And once again, I was at WrestleMania 34 for that main event. And coincidentally, this was your main event again. But this was sort of a match. It's one of those things where it really didn't feel like a match. Because you had Braun Strowman, who was the Money in the Bank holder. He came out, basically said that he's going to wait for whoever wins, and he's going to cash in. So, I'm not a Braun Strowman fan personally, but it's still exciting to see a prospect of a cash-in. So, it made a lot of people very angry when that didn't happen. Brock obviously chucked the briefcase up the stage, basically. And Roman ended up winning the Universal title. And Braun Strowman never cashed in. They just kind of cut very quickly at the very end. And being there in person, the crowd was pretty pissed leaving. But it's one of those things where Vince McMahon's a genius. That got people to not leave the Barclays Center early. That got people to not chant "beat the traffic" so they could get up and leave. No, this kept people in their seats. This is a Vince McMahon move. So, Vince McMahon, like him or hate him, he is a genius sometimes when he wants to be. So, an overall letter grade for this pay-per-view, I'm going to give it a C+. It was very, very average, but you did have some historical moments there. When you look back, you're going to be like, yeah, this happened at SummerSlam 2018. And being there in person, not the most electric crowd. Part of it is because I was ringside for TakeOver the night before, so you can't top that. But overall, this is an event. You can definitely watch it, over again. But at the end of the day, it just felt very mediocre. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below what your letter grade would be. For now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.